Hi, everybody. Welcome to Brilliantly Sexy with Devina Kaur. Today, it is my honor and honestly a privilege to welcome Valerie Prasetyo on our show, Brilliantly Sexy with Devina Kaur. Valerie is an author, a speaker, and a world champion athlete. And Valerie is also the founder and currently has a movie called, well, the movie Independent Woman. And Valerie, thank you so much for joining us. Please tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you're a mother, you're a wife, you're a world citizen, but really, how do you manage to do everything that you do while being a world champion athlete?
Well, thank you very much for this introduction. I think you summarized pretty much everything, like in a very short um, sentence. So yes, as you mentioned, I was always having this inner rebel, let's say, and was striving to be by myself, independent, meaning finding my own path, working on myself, working on the project that brings me joy, but at the same time I can also monetize in a way. And also it comes for different aspects of life, as well as in what country you live in. It's like I'm always love to set a huge goal. Sometimes you think, oh my gosh, I maybe cannot accomplish this. How I'm supposed to do that? But when you start working on it and build it in small tasks, you strategize and step by step move to this, you just realize, okay, what is going on now? And then you meet right people, right opportunities come, and that's how you move forward. That's basically how it happened with for example, getting the title of the world champion, or whether it's writing your own book or establishing a new platform. And actually, Independent Women, it was just all about live events. And just this year, we turned it to digital one. So basically, of course, it is all about transformation, bringing some changes. But I think it's all about have this big vision for your life, how you would love to live it, as well as vision for everything you do.
Well, this is beautifully said. And in the spiritual world too, we when we know what we want, which comes from knowing who we are, so knowing our bright side, knowing our gifts, but also knowing our not such a good side. And by that I mean is we've all got things that we're constantly working on, as you say, and transforming. So it's important that we know who we are, and when we know who we are, it helps us in knowing what we want. Valerie, what do you think about that?
I think in order to, sometimes we set goals and you don't sometimes know where this came from, whether it's, let's call it as it is, manipulation of somebody,
Hmm.
whether it's nowadays so many, like it's a huge flow of information, and a lot of people lost in it, like they believe, oh, I want this because it's considered to be great and right thing for me. Even from the birth, some in some way somebody is trying to control what we supposed to be, what we supposed to do, and it's hard really to remind to yourself who you really are. And
Hmm.
that's when it comes from, because I was born in Asian family, let's say, and many things were basically suppressed inside of me for so many years, and that's why it takes time. Sometimes it's lifetime, right, to realize who you are and accept and be aware, like of your light and your shadow, what is good about you, what is not, and
Yeah.
start working. I think a lot of people say, oh, you need to find your role model in this life. And I would say, why not you become your own role model and figure out who you want to be in this life, in this reality? And maybe you can just write down what kind of traits this person has to have, what kind of
Hmm.
character, what would you like to change in yourself? Because very often, especially nowadays with what is going on in the world, we say we're not happy and satisfied with so many things, with new regulations, with whatever's going on, but sometimes we can't really influence it directly, or it can take time, or we can't do anything and we can't control things. But what we can control is we can control ourselves. Or
Yeah.
sometimes we can find ourselves being not happy with, I don't know, people we work with or relationships or whatever, but we can't change people. We can just change ourselves. So start working on things you're not happy about yourself,
Yeah.
or otherwise just like make your strengths, like focus on them and go from this, take it from there, let's say.
Very well said, Valerie. Valerie, I want to ask you, like, you've been a professional dancer, you're a world champion athlete, like winning many prizes. What was your driving force, and what was it like to? How many times have you won the championship? And what was it like to kind of, give that up, or at least temporarily give that up to raise a family?
Well, it's like it's a journey, because I actually started to dance pretty late. Let's say sometimes people say, "Oh, you need to start at 6." I started when I was 12, and it's another one. Like, it tells you that people can say one thing, but actually you anyway. It doesn't matter when you start. The most important that you start and that you really want. So I think the journey was like like everywhere. It's ups and downs. If to talk about particularly world championship and the fact that I was started to represent Germany, I think I had, by the way, 5 years break. So basically, you, I'm kind of started from scratch, right? But from the other side, what people don't see, like, I came back in sport in 2013. In 2014, we won world championship, and some people say, "Oh, she could do this in 1 year, like become a world champion, or like 1 year plus few months." But what people don't see is that it's not this year, it's actually many, many, many years before that were invested in building up the foundation. So if you're in sport, you understand that for us, foundation is technique, and it's doing work that lots of people hate to do. It's doing one particular thing again and again and again. It's very annoying, painful, and not nice thing. But as soon as you go to the competition, to the step on the dance floor, you are paid off basically. You are paid off, whether it's prize, whether you're just happy in general with the performance, whether you touched the audience in the way you wanted to have this kind of impact, if you're dancing a show or whatever it is. So of course, the combination of all of these things build up specific result.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you know it's all about also choice, because it is a choice as a sportsman or sportswoman to say, okay, now I'm ready to have a family. And you have to also accept all the outcomes that it brings. For example, we stopped dancing when we became parents with my husband,
Mm-hmm.
and it's blessing. At the same time, I think it's all about this passion inside that you have. So I still do have this passion. I still think I can again come back to the dancing floor and still enjoy this, maybe even achieve something. It's all up, basically up to you, what you want.
Mm-hmm. Are you actively competing right now?
No, no, not. We're fully focused on, like, me personally building the platform, my husband also doing his project, and also we have 2 kids. So it's a little bit a lot, taking account also that nowadays everything is closed. It's not allowed to go to dancing schools. So what you can do is just do it online. But dancing online, it's not the same if you go and dance like live competition.
That's true for sure. And Valerie, are you? I know that you're raising young children, but are you teaching dance? If somebody wants to learn dance, where is this something that you have a recommendation about? where they can start. And actually, I just want to mention something. I used to be, I'm born and raised in India, and I used to learn classical dance growing up in India. And then recently, I mean, I've been in Canada for about 20 years now, and I forgot how to, like the classical moves. But then recently I started dancing again. So my teacher, who's I'm learning Kathak, and she's like, when you dance, you go into your own zone and you become a little child. So,
Yeah.
so Valerie, there is really, like you said, there's no time to, like, the present, and now is the perfect time to start, right? So, to anybody who's listening in, Valerie, what are your top three tips for dancing?
For dancing, it's never too late. It's always, as you said, this inner child who is like all about having fun. And dancing, dancing is not just that you go on the stage and create the perfect show. It's any kind of movement that your body, like, you're listening the like music and you have this inner sparkle, or even if you don't have this inner sparkle, because some people say, oh, I can't dance, just leave me alone. But anyway, when you are sitting, you're listening some kind of music, you are already moving. It is dancing, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I think it starts from discovering what kind of music do you like, do you enjoy. There are so many different styles. There are so many ways how you can self-express yourself in this area. So just start to also in like discover what you really like,
Yeah,
and
get to know yourself.
yeah, just like what really it's actually also opens your mind a lot, not
Yeah.
only in dancing, but if you're doing business or for your career, whatever it is. And third is of course action. So as soon as you feel like, oh, I actually would love to try, then go and try, even if it's online lesson nowadays. You
Mm-hmm.
can do that. If you don't
Mm-hmm.
like the style, you can try something new. I mean, it's always a journey, but you never know unless you try. So this
Beautifully
basically three
said.
things.
Beautifully said. And Valerie, I see this beautiful purple and green logo behind you. What is that?
Yeah.
It's
What is
beautiful,
that?
by the
Well,
way.
I don't know if I can move the camera and show. Oh, this
Yeah,
is basically our logo of independent women. The reason, actually, I don't know if you've seen any kind of. We also have a YouTube channel. Normally, we have like intro or outro where this lady is actually moving. So the reason I wanted to have this lady in the logo is because she also represents grace, because I believe every woman has inner grace, and also she's dancing, so she's performing, she's self-expressing, and all the sleeves is basically it's abundance. It's also like green, and also in a way it's I know for some people say tree, there is a connection of tree as well, because I believe if you want to be established and build something very sustainable, it starts from your foundation, from your roots. That takes maybe years sometimes, and you constantly invest in your roots, right? Whether it's mindset, whether it's any kind of acquiring new skills or whatever you need to achieve your goal. And when the first thing's coming, it starts to grow, and normally it starts to grow very fast if you did like right investments in yourself, and at
mm-hmm.
the end you get results, so you get fruits or these green leaves. And I'm joking, but in a way it's true, right? Every woman give different kind of fruits at the end. We're not all avocados or I don't know apples or whatever. We everybody have different gifts inside, and whatever you want to grow, this comes as a byproduct or result of what you were doing.
That's beautiful, and I love the color combination. It's so
Thank
soothing
you.
and so pleasant. And just those of you who may not know this, the green is our heart chakra,
Mm,
which is the chakra of the love. Our body has seven main chakras, and our heart is love, anahata. That's what it's called. And then the purple is our wisdom,
connection.
is the
Yeah.
connection with the spiritual powers. So this is very timely, and it's just beautiful, like just so soothing. And Valerie, what made you create the platform of independent women. You've got a speaker series, you're doing summits, you've got a movie, you've got a book. Tell us a little bit more about the workings behind the mind that that said, I want to do something, the vision that you had.
Well, the funny part of this is always in life, it's all puzzle by puzzle. It comes to a picture. Sometimes some parts are missing, but as I told you, it's all about taking action and start instead of waiting when finally you have the whole picture. Because even now, putting the last parts on place, but I think it started as you asked me, like where you were born, right? Starting from this part, it's very complicated thing, but for many people to understand that I'm a Korean who was born in Kazakhstan, whose native language is Russian, who was like I'm citizen of Germany, and I lived in so many different countries,
A
and
global citizen.
it's hard to understand for people. But at the same time, sometimes they do ask, "Oh, why did you leave Germany? Why don't you live like in Dubai anymore?" There, I think independency for me is all about as well choice. And, we have these 20 beautiful women uh, from 20 different countries, and a lot of them answered, like, what is independence for you? It's choice, right? So to be honest, for many, many years was so much disconnected. Like, it was hard for me to build any kind of relationships with women. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, I had like best friends, but when it came to projects, to hanging out, go out, it was always like have a lot of boyfriends and just feeling like comfortable. I also worked in investment industry, so for me it was a pretty comfortable place to be, environment. But I think when I started to discover, go stepping on the spiritual part and realizing where it comes from, I started to work on this. And the big change was when basically I'm mother of two daughters. When our first daughter came into this planet, I just realized how much support women needs. First of all, from starting when we were born, there are still a lot of parts in this world when girls, baby girls, are not welcomed so much, right? And they are developing in the womb, realizing that nobody wants them in this life. And this is the truth. And another part of this is that even if you're born, especially, for example, talking from my experience, if you're an Asian family, you have so many expectations. You're so much suppressed. You're not allowed to be this. You're not allowed to be that. It's all about family reputation and so many other things coming to them. So you grow up with all these expectations, but as I told, who you really are, and then
Mm-hmm.
you waste tons of time and efforts to come back to yourself. And I really want, starting from the next generations, basically my kids, that they live completely different life of freedom. And funny part when my daughter sees this logo or she sees like the movie logo, she says, "I independent woman." It's like already now uh, going in this like environment and see completely different things. And I think that's how it should be. Have freedom to choose what do you want to have in this life, how do you want to live this life, with whom would you like to share your path. So this all about this. And also I lost my parents pretty early, I would say. And this was like the outcomes was that my life changed so much. And I
Mm-hmm.
finally started to realize that whatever illusion was built around my life, you started to see, okay, this is not actually friends. This is not really the system that's supposed to protect you. It's all not truth. There is no justice. There is no so many things on place. But when you have this ecosystem or community, or you build up environment in a way that you can choose for yourself what is good for you. And
Mm-hmm.
also, I invite everybody who are watching this, my main message, find out what really makes you happy, what brings you joy, what makes sense to you, and make the choice based on that.
Yeah. And that
So
and that comes really from knowing who you are and then practicing radical self-acceptance. And many of you may not know this, but Sexy Brilliant Nonprofit Foundation happened because of me overcoming an addiction. And that's what I mean by radical self-acceptance. It's about accepting every part of you. No part of you is your own enemy. Right, Valerie?
exactly. I
Yeah.
mean, everything has a perfect, uh, perfect reason why you experience this or that uh,
Mm-hmm.
experience in your life.
And Valerie, how can what in your opinion is the best way for women to support other women?
I think there's so much going on in women empowerment industry, and I know that more women, they are awakening and realizing that it's all about collaboration, it's all about joining forces. But I think there's still so much work in this area. First of all, the reason of this, because women have, before they start building this supporting part, they have to realize their inner self-worth. They have to realize what they really deserve in this life and what they want. Because I was also one of these women who was always about all over the place and saying, yeah, I want to support this project, I want to support that. And at the end of the day, ending up in burnout or ending up not getting whatever, to support myself. And that's how
Mm-hmm.
we're built. We're all about giving, we're all about nurturing, we're all about supporting, whether it's projects, whether it's family, whether it's somebody else. But when it comes to us, we have no idea what actually we need to have enough energy, restore ourselves, and be, you often hear, oh, be present, be present. This is the key. But to be present, your brain consumes enormous amount of energy,
Mm-hmm.
like physically, and how you are supposed to be all this time that you are awakened, be present, how much energy you need. Plus, you have to take care about your kids, about your husband, about your business, and so much more. You have so many roles. So I think everything starts from yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Learn how you can restore your energy and how you can, we did in our community a happiness challenge last month. It's basically discovering tools that makes you happy no matter what is going on with the outside world, let's say. I know it sounds selfish. It's selfish when and I
Self
realize,
self care is not selfish. It's a prerequisite to happiness.
yeah, because when I said to people, you have to be happy regardless what your spouse thinking. If you need rest, you take rest, or what how your kids are feeling. You have to be, your happiness should not be dependent on somebody and your well-being as well. And
Mm-hmm.
for many people, it's like, oh, how it is, but it's not possible like this. They are on the first place. No, you are on the first place. And I think when women start to healthy realize this fact that they are on this place for themselves in order to serve better, then when this kind of connections and women empowerment industry itself will change dramatically, and that's when our projects that we are doing will start having much, even bigger impact. We already have impact,
Yeah.
but it will have even more impact.
Yeah. And you know what? When we are full and overflowing with love, joy, and abundance, we can then share it with others.
Yeah,
Right?
sure.
Thank you so much,
Exactly.
Valerie. And as we're coming to the end of the show, and before we just finish, I want to draw the sexy, brilliant empowerment cards. These are cards that are giving us divine messages on, daily divine messages, and whatever you've discussed today. We draw cards at every show. Choose a
Okay.
number between one and there are 50 cards, so choose a number between one and five.
3.
Oh my god, I love that number, Valerie. It's one of my favorite numbers, actually. Okay, number three, healthy, sexy boundaries.
Yeah, you see, your health, your well-being is all about that.
Yeah, and it says, this is so timely to what you were saying, Valerie. It says, setting boundaries takes courage and practice. Healthy
Exactly.
boundaries allow us to truly respect ourselves. They keep our physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual well being healthy and help us stay sexy.
Wow.
Limits, limits can be set in all parts of our lives. Healthy boundaries help increase our confidence in risk taking.
Well, this amazing summary of everything we discussed today.
Beautifully said. And Valerie, how can people from the Sexy Brilliant community find you? And there are links. We're going to be dropping links on all social media. But what is your website address?
It's basically independentwomen.co. You can go just to the platform and connect, explore, see what serves you, what is basically there for you, because it's all about mindset, money, leadership, and spirit.
Beautiful, Valerie. And everybody, make sure you are connecting with Valerie. You are following her on social media, as well as supporting the Independent Woman Project. And I know that Valerie has lots of other projects in the pipeline. So connect with her. And who knows, you may be part of her next movie.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Valerie, and looking forward to chatting with you again. And thank you, everybody, for watching, for sharing this video. Sexy Brilliant Foundation is a nonprofit, registered nonprofit foundation to remove toxic shame and raise human consciousness. And we are so happy and delighted that you're part of our family. Please subscribe to our newsletter, and we are so excited to see you there. Sexybrilliant.com, sexybrilliant.org.com leads to .org. So sexybrilliant.com. Thank you once again, and this is Devina Kaur.
Thank you.